All right, hello and welcome everyone. My name is John Toublaris, and I'm really excited for today because we're gonna be talking about, introduce to you our latest member here at Agents Unleashed at eXp Realty, George Tremis. And George, really excited to have you come on and do this special interview with us.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be able to do this. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Awesome. So George, let's just get right into it here. George, obviously you and I met back last year, and we're discussing about the eXp model, of course, discussing real estate, discussing business. You have such an extensive knowledge in the business world as an entrepreneur, now as a realtor. Why don't you just start off with just sharing a little bit about your background and how did you start to look at the eXp model, and let's go from there.
So the journey began a long time ago when my parents met. No, I'm kidding. Basically, I have a diverse background in business, and I've always been an entrepreneur. So it's almost fitting that my journey took me into real estate and then eventually to eXp. But to take a step back, I worked for a number of big Fortune 50 companies, and then subsequently I found my way into entrepreneurship. I built or turned around several businesses and sold them. Then got into real estate. Real estate seemed to be a place where I got to apply my approach to consulting, because I did some consulting work as well before, in terms of helping people meet their real estate needs, whether it's for a home, for a family member, or for an investment. And I guess like some of us, I started out by flipping houses, and then I realized that I really wanted to be involved in the actual trading part of real estate. So I joined real estate about 5 years ago, and then I proceeded to get my broker designation. And I was with a Royal LePage office the entire time.
Right.
But I came across the eXp model, and it really called out to me. It called out to me because it called to the entrepreneur in me. It called to my belief in affiliate marketing. It called to my belief in building a legacy and residual income. Because the one thing about being an agent that I noticed is after every transaction, there was a joke in the office. Oh, I'm unemployed again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've cleared out all the deals, and now you're prospecting again, looking for more people to help in their real estate transaction needs. But eXp offered something different. So it called to everything in my background and also to where I see the future being. So I was exposed to it maybe a year ago. It seems like time flies by and things move really quick with eXp too. I mean, you can just look at some of the metrics for that, whether it's stock price or agent growth or anything else. Yeah. But although I knew that the model was something that resonated with me and it was predictive of the future, I still hadn't found a place where I wanted to, I guess, join the group, right? So for me, a big part of it was about fit. So I think the whole journey in total took me about a year, at least the eXp portion of my journey.
Wow. Yeah. So I clearly remember that because I was staying in contact with you for this whole year. Of course, sharing with you great information and where we're at as a company, as a whole, the great things that we're doing and what we're up to, the initiatives that we're launching. I mean, all these great things have been taking place. And of course, you were there at a Royal LePage. Of course, great company, traditional company, of course. But here you are over at eXp right now. So, George, given that you have such an extensive knowledge in business and as an entrepreneur, from a business perspective, let's look for that, because I'm going to ask you several questions here. I'm going to really, pick your brain here. So from a business perspective, as an entrepreneur looking at this, what makes most sense to the entrepreneurial in you that was a calling for you, that you said, you know what, after 5 years of being at Royal LePage, because let's face it, a lot of people are very comfortable being at the same brokerage for years after years after years after years. And here we are, we have a model here that's really disrupting the real estate industry, right? So what was it after 5 years that you looked at, because it's some time at being at a brokerage, 5 years, that you said, you know what, today is the day. I remember you gave me a call, it was a couple of weeks ago, and you said, hey, John, let's go, let's do this, right? And so what was that when everything came together, what was that called the entrepreneur in you that made best business sense?
Good question. So I approached my analysis of eXp, much like I'd approach, my real estate business or any of the other businesses I've been engaged in from a very consulting analytical standpoint, right?
Yep.
I did keep in mind the fact that there has to be a personal connection, but I also looked and said, okay, does the model make sense? Is the business established? Is this an early startup? Do they have their systems and process in place and everything organized and they're poised for growth? Because one of the things, and to use the analogy that's been used so many times, is you got to skate to where the puck's going to be, classic Wayne Gretzky. And I knew that I had a nice start in the brokerage I was in. I was brought in under the understanding that you should be with a full service brokerage when you start out, so you get the support, etc. But what I came to realize is the brokerage was more about the people that were there and the relationships I formed and the mentorships, etc. So I knew as much as I was being analytical about my decision, I had to take that into account in terms of a fit and personal relationships. So what I looked at was the opportunity to actually build something, to create residual income, which I'm a firm believer in, to be part of something where everybody is aligned in terms of everybody wanting to see each other succeed in the group. Whether you're in your affiliate network or not directly, there's still that camaraderie, which I was also looking for, because that's the best things I took away with me from the brokerage I was at before. And I'm now realizing right from day one, now that I'm part of eXp and Agents Unleashed as well, is that I get to have that fit, that team, that group, but yet all the progressive technologies, the business model, etc. So it's the best of both worlds. So the only regret I really have is that I didn't explore the model a little bit sooner, but you know what? Each person finds their path in their own time. And
Absolutely.
I had to find the right group first. So I wasn't just shopping for a new brokerage under a new paradigm or a new model that would check off a lot of the things that I couldn't have in a traditional brokerage. I was also looking for the right group to be part of. Yeah.
Right.
And
Right.
so
share a little bit more about that in terms of finding the right group, because I was in the same position, just about 15 months ago when I joined back in, July 2019. And for me, I saw the model. I said, hey, it's a great model. There's, it's really disrupting the real estate industry with the technology and the platform and the 5 different ways we earn shares and the revenue share and all the support that there is and all that. But my whole thing was about the group, like which group will I belong to? Which group will I be with? Which group will I join with? Which is a huge question. I'm sure many people watching this probably thinking the same thing, like, great, I heard of eXp, but which group do I go with? So how did you come to your decision in terms of selecting our group here in Toronto, Agents Unleashed, and, and seeing that as a good fit for you?
Well, I knew all the real estate aspects were in place. I knew that the group had a lot of top producers. Okay. I mean, we use that term a lot. So there was experienced, capable, knowledgeable professionals that are switching over to eXp and to Agents Unleashed in particular. But I was looking for top people, not just top producers. So top people goes beyond just being able to produce 2, 3, whatever 100,000 in commissions. It's about being a top person in terms of your perspective, your entrepreneurial nature, how you interact with other people, how you interact with your own life, your philosophy. And you're familiar with a lot of my social media and my personal philosophies and beliefs as well, based on, the social interactions we've had. And I found a group of like-minded people in Agents Unleashed. So people that believe the same things I do, to believe, to ask the question, why? Why can't things be different? Why can't we push ourselves out of our comfort zone?
Yeah.
Why can't we do things novel and innovative for our clients? Why can't we offer more and create greater value? And everybody I've spoken with has the same mindset. And why can't we help each other and win together? So at the brokerage I was at before, we formed friendships and we helped each other just because of those friendships, which is paramount. It's critical. But when you can help other people and help yourself, like the most selfish thing being do good by others and you do good by yourself, I get to do that in this model, in the affiliate structure. So I get to be me and get rewarded for it. And then everybody else is like that in the group too. So it goes beyond just the personal relationships. It's also the affiliate incentive to be there for each other and help each other beyond what you would have in a brokerage with reaching out to a manager or whatever have you. And then as far as my onboarding process, I mean, I just have to say it blew my mind right off the start. I knew that change is painful. Nobody likes change. Everybody gets comfortable with it. But I said, if you don't stretch yourself, you're going to stagnate. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right. And so I engaged in the process, but then right away I had somebody assigned to me. They reached out to me right away. They made sure all the steps in the process for transitioning everything from my license to my board memberships, etc., were all laid out and plotted out with support on every step of the way. So I was really impressed by the onboarding model.
Yeah, I remember you gave me a call, or I gave you a call, either way. And I remember asking you, hey, how's your onboarding? You're like, wow, that was smooth, right? That was the first word to say, hey, that was smooth. That was so smooth, right? And just from filling that application form, which a lot of people think, oh my God, change, right? But once you go through the process and you take it step by step, which you did, and then of course you came on board, those words came out of your mouth. Wow, that's a smooth transition. That was a smooth process. And then all of a sudden, I see you in the computer, and lo and behold, there's George, right? So which is pretty great. So those are key points that you just mentioned there, right? So it's not only, of course, looking at the eXp model, but finding the group. And that's important, is that you find the group, you find the fit. And like you said, it's not only just finding the top producers. Yeah, okay, we can make a bunch of money in real estate, which is fantastic, right?
Well, yeah.
But it's also finding the right fit, like you said, the right philosophies, the right mindset, the right perspectives. And that way, together, we can not only grow as individuals, but as a group as well. And that way, it creates a lot more synergy, energy here. It creates, of course, that collaboration, that sense of community, that sense of belonging, that feeling of belonging there, and which feels great. And if you, of course, you get that sense of belonging, that connection to community, and we're making money at the same time, I mean, oh my gosh, that's like jackpot, right?
Well, it can't be overstated. It really can't. I mean, I've been having a few chats with different people who have reached out to me that I've met during the course of my career, and they reach out asking about eXp, and they ask why. And one of the common denominators I found was that a lot of people are interested in the model. I mean, the word is spreading. You have the different ways of generating revenue. You have the ability to generate residual income, to create a legacy, to be an owner, which is so important. We tell our clients, be an owner, not a renter. Well, don't you want to do the same thing in your real estate business? So all that's there. But the one thing I noticed that was a common theme among the people I spoke with is they weren't able to put a face to the company yet. And that face to the company is the group that you choose to be with.
Right.
So, anybody that's considering the eXp model and making that leap for their business and their future, find the right group, find your fit. That would be a piece of advice I would give, which is what I did with your group.
Yeah, and of course, invited you to several webinars. Invited you to some back in March. It was it back? Yeah, it was back in March where I invited you to a live presentation. There, you came out. Of course, we had the Director of Canada, Deb Stevens. We had John Humphreys there, Growth and Expansion Manager. We have several of our eXp agents there in the room as well. Which you had come out there, and then of course in the summertime our group had a pool party, which you had come out. You had lots of fun at the pool party as well, and connecting and knowing a lot of other eXp agents in the group as well, which is really nice. And that's what we like to do here with our group here in Toronto, George. Is as you know, is to have these monthly mingles. I said that on one of our calls. It was a couple of weeks ago. And I never knew. It was like, well, it was a mingling, but I never put a word on it, like a term or some sort of phrase. And I said, yeah, hey, why don't you come out to our monthly mingle? And this Lily in our group said, hey, you know what? I really like that word. And I really like that way you just called it, monthly mingle. And I find it so key these days, especially going, the pandemic and with everything that's going on is, yeah, we're 100% virtual. However, it's also nice to see our fellow colleagues as well in person. And that's what we put on these once a month, right? So that's fantastic.
The irony
so, George,
is connecting more with all of you through these virtual meetings, through these monthly mingles, more than I found connections happening in the traditional brokerage. So that surprised me too. So it's not about the medium of communication or connection; it's about the intention, I think. And there's a much stronger intention here.
Exactly, and the intention here within our group, as you know, is to, of course, to empower and inspire our agents here in our group here, to obviously to be a lot more productive and successful, but also to feel good in the process about it as well, having that good fit and that sense of belonging, right? So let me ask you this, George. Obviously, you've done your due diligence. You've done lots of research. You've, your analytics, whatever you've done to go through this. I mean, there's a lot of, people watching this, I'm sure, and, they're thinking, hey, that's me, right? I'm doing a lot of research and analytical, the analytical mindset, of course. What would you say then, let's go two groups here. Let's go first in terms of the newer agents, okay, that are looking at this model. So what would you say to the newer agents looking at this model from the perspective that would help them in their real estate career?
So in addition to the things we already discussed, I think one of the things I'd want people to be aware of is that the concept of joining a full service brokerage to get that support, whether it's your weekly, PEP meetings, or whether it's whatever other aspect of being a startup agent that you're looking for. Because to be honest, I mean, I was nervous too at first. You don't want to make a mistake on a deal. You understand the magnitude of what you're dealing with and helping people with the biggest decisions of their lives. So you want that support structure. One of the things I can attest to is I see as much support here within 1 week of being in eXp and part of this group as I did at the traditional brokerage as well. But the thinking is a little bit more forward thinking. And by no means am I negatively speaking about my past brokerage. Great group of people, very traditional orientation, great tools and methods. But again, I believe in evolving as quickly as possible. And so I think that had I started here, I would be just as supported as I was there, because for the most part, the real support, and anybody who's been in real estate a while and looks back on their starting days will say, most of the support came from some kind of connection in the office, somebody being a mentor to you, somebody saying, here, let me help you out. And there was a couple of people that mentored me a little bit when I started, and I'm very appreciative of them. But now I see that if I was a startup agent in eXp, I've got you to mentor me, Carrie to mentor me, a number of other people, without going on name after name, that I've formed these relationships very quickly, as well as eXp corporate. I get incredible response rate. I had a question about some potential transactions with some out-of-country US citizens, and there's a divorce situation. It's quite complicated. And I got a response within 30 minutes. Blew my mind. Wow. Unbelievable. Yeah. So from a startup agent, you've got everything you need. Don't let fear hold you back. And at the same time, if I look back 5 years and say, okay, had I started with eXp 5 years ago, where would I be in terms of residual income? Where would I be in terms of building my legacy? And, not starting from scratch after every transaction's done and I have nothing else in the pipeline, so to speak. And I look at where I'd be and I say, I wish I started yesterday. Ironically, just like we tell our clients, when's the best time to buy real estate? It was yesterday. Same thing applies here. So keep an open mind, do your homework, get a feel for the opportunity in the right group, and you will be just as supported as a new agent. But yeah, you're benefiting from time on your side, compounding. I wish I could have compounded the last 5 years, but we don't look back, we move forward. So be it.
Exactly, right. You can't move forward by looking at the rearview mirror, right? Exactly. So just looking straight right now. And of course, for the newer agents, we've got the, the 50 plus hours a week of training, plus the mentorship support and all that. Great. And George, what would you say now to the experience, to the veteran agents? And I'm sure you know plenty of realtors out there, and I'm sure some of them are even watching this right now. What would you say to the veteran, the experienced realtors? They've been there, they've done that, they've built a great large business, they know the game in real estate, that are looking here at this model here. If you were to say, give some words of advice or some encouragement, what would that be for them?
Leverage what you've created, leverage all the work you've done to this point. So whether you're an individual superstar who's going to be an icon agent, or whether you're the founder of a big team, and I don't need to say some of the big names that have switched over recently to eXp, they're leveraging what they've done to date. Because I stopped, I'm a reflective person, a little bit analytical, and I thought to myself, why did these big names make the switch? Not that I don't know why I made the switch, but I want to understand why they did. And I realized they're leveraging their legacy that they've created to date in this business and getting compounded returns on it. So the way they were operating before, they hit their model, they hit their peak, their growth rate is limited by the traditional methods. However, coming over to eXp, they get to compound that growth rate and take advantage of new methods of generating more profit, more revenue, etc., for their businesses or their teams. And so for experienced agents, look at the leverage opportunities. They are here. Whether you're an individual superstar or a team-based superstar, there's something for all of you here.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And because there's a lot of benefits here with the leverage, of course, leaving a legacy, but with the leverage there, that's such a key word in business, right? Never mind eXp Realty, but that's a key word in business overall, just so you have that, get that time back. You have the time freedom, you have the financial freedom, but also the time freedom, which is so key in terms of having that quality of time that I can give you there as an experienced realtor here in the industry. So when you say leverage, George, what are, if you can pinpoint some of the key things in terms of the leverage points that can make a difference for these experienced realtors, what would be some key leverage points here for them that can make a real impact and a real difference in their business?
Well, to take a surface level summary of it, you have the different ways of generating revenue, right? So they're already generating revenue either individually or as part of a team. But now suddenly they have these additional streams open to them that they can take advantage of or leverage. And what that actually does is they don't need to change what they're doing. They're actually doing the same thing, or we're doing the same thing. And now we're getting synergies. So it's not like we have to do more. And in fact, in some cases, we have to do less to build our teams, to grow our business, to service our clients. But because of these additional ways of generating revenue streams or income streams in this model, they're creating that synergy and they're leveraging what they're already doing to a greater degree. Now, whether it's, volume of transactions or sales hitting an icon status and then having eXp reinvest in you, because that's what they're doing, they're reinvesting in you, or whether it's the residual model where you're building teams anyway, you're supporting them and coaching them, you want to create something great, and whether you're doing commission splits or whatever have you, you're also gaining the residuals. So you're doing the same things you were doing before in your business model, but now you're incorporating into eXp and getting these additional synergies, which is pretty incredible because that's value creation, right? Anytime you can leverage something, take advantage of synergy, you're actually creating value, exponential value.
So they're already successful as they are. However, within our model here, they're getting that exponential value, synergy, leverage here for themselves. Not only, but here's the thing for the team leader, if you're a team leader listening to this, if you're a team leader and, it's providing more benefits and adding more value to your team members, right? Than on a traditional model by actually, because here's the thing, if you want them to stick around even longer, you got to keep providing them with value, right? And when you provide them with value and the benefits that we have here within this model here, it makes a big difference in terms of the, having that sustainability, of course, within your group, within your team, over in the long haul there. That's fantastic. So George, just a couple more questions here before wrapping it up. So George, what do you see for yourself in your business, and what do you see like within the next year, 3 years, 5 years out for yourself that got you excited?
Well, I'd like to continue first and foremost helping people, achieve their real estate goals, etc. But now I'm looking forward to doing it as part of this bigger group in Agents Unleashed and being part of eXp and helping to grow the business and also share with people, because at the end of the day, this won't necessarily be appropriate for everyone. Nothing is great for everyone, but there's a lot of people that this is appropriate for, and I would love the opportunity to help communicate that and share why. Because again, I'm a firm believer in the most selfish thing you can do is help others because it helps you. So it's such a beautiful win-win. So I see myself, participating more in the group, helping to grow eXp and get the message out, and helping build our group and make it something that will leave its mark in history. That's what I'd like to do.
Fantastic. That's beautiful in terms of how you want to help and how you want to make a difference in other agents' lives as well. Because we are changing lives here within this eXp model, and it's beautiful that when we have a gift, is to share that gift with everyone else, with our friends in the real estate industry. Why keep it to ourselves? Why don't we just share it with others? And that's great to hear that you're going to be doing that here for the next years to come. Fantastic. So George, if agents did want to get a hold of you, what's the best contact information for agents to get in contact with you?
Great question. So I think my social media is a great way to reach out to me in terms of LinkedIn. You can find me on their GT1 Realty Group or George Tremis or Georgios Tremis. I think that responding to where this video is going to be posted and tagging me, I'll reach out to you for sure. And please, any questions, no obligation. I love business. I love real estate. I love consulting and teaching and sharing my knowledge. And, I think that's part of, as you get older, get a few gray hairs, you want to kind of give back, right? And help people like people helped you along the way. So please feel free to reach out any way that's convenient for you. And I would love to have a conversation.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, George, I really appreciate you being here, taking the time out of your busy schedule to coming on and sharing as to why you have joined eXp in our group here, Agents Unleashed in Ontario here. So really appreciate it. Really excited you coming on board with us and making this time for us here today. So again, thank you so much. And I'll see you on our next group calls and as we expand eXp here in Toronto, Ontario, and beyond. So, and for our viewers watching, thank you so much. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to George. He's more than, wealth of knowledge and information. And reach out to George and he'll help you with any questions that you may have. So again, thanks for watching. Thank you, George. And we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.
Thank you, John.